This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2017 Audi TT 2.0. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4. Down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I'm super excited to be driving this here TT for really one reason and one reason only, and that is the fact that I've never driven an Audi TT. The TT debuted in the late 90s, and I've always thought that they were cool cars. One of my dad's old bosses used to have one, and I remember at the store one time we bought him a model of the car, and ever since then I always thought that they were quite good looking. So now it's my turn to finally experience what a TT is all about, even though this isn't really the full bore 100% TT. So let's get back to that 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4. I've driven so many vehicles from Volkswagen with this engine setup. What immediately comes to mind is the base model Porsche Macan. The Jetta has gotten this motor. This is a well-used engine and it makes okay power, especially for this little two-door coupe. It makes 220 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque, which is nothing really to thumb your nose at, not too bad. And while doing so, it gets 23 miles to the gallon in the city, 31 miles to the gallon on the highway. That's that nice little 4-cylinder action for you. When it's not using the turbo, it actually gets 31 miles to the gallon on the highway, which is really, really nice. And the reason I said this isn't the full bore, full Audi TT is because there is an Audi TT RS, which gets a 400 horsepower, 5-cylinder turbo engine and 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So this is not that. This is just a little 4-banger one, which comes at a discount of about $44,000 brand new. But again, this is a 2017, and Toyota of Naperville is offering it here for $30,000 with 21,000 miles on it. So, 2017 Audi TT 2.0, drive mode, dynamic. Again, my GoPro mount has decided to not participate today, so it's probably going to move. That's the mount. That's not like any serious torque from the TT. Let the mount sort of regain itself. It's quick. It's definitely quick, and it's fun to drive. I mean, you could really nail it, have some fun, shifts really quick, not too much turbo lag. I mean, that's fun. It's fun. It's very, very fun to drive. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed S-tronic transmission from Audi, and I really like these transmissions. I think they shift really quick for what they are, but hey, that's okay with me. Last but not least, the TT is all-wheel drive. It has Audi's Quattro system, which is pretty neat. Now we gotta move on to the interior because we have a ton of very interesting, quirky little things about the Audi TT. Well, in front of me, I just have a screen. This is my gauges, of course, with my tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right, and I can change the size of those using the view button on the steering wheel. However, the year before this, 2016, was the first year for the virtual cockpit. So this is Audi's virtual cockpit, they call it, which means that everything is ran through the gauge cluster. Your radio, your navigation, your backup camera, as well as, of course, your regular gauge duties are all ran through this gauge cluster screen. So I'm cycling through a bunch of interesting things now that you can do and look at, and I'm sort of torn on this. First of all, I like the way it looks. Very high frame rate. It looks very nice, it's clean, it's simple, and it works. Visually, it's simple. Actually using this, it's taking a lot of getting used to, and I'm not even fully satisfied with my abilities to use it. There's so many menus and pages and settings, and trying to Bluetooth pair my phone to this car was quite the challenge because it's so unnatural to do so in the gauge cluster. The steering wheel controls are so far removed from the actual screen that it was kind of hard to figure out. And the steering wheel is so small, the controls are so small, that they're all jumbled together. And so I like the look of it. I think it looks cool, fresh, and modern, but the actual usability of it is going to be a very hefty learning curve for whoever buys this vehicle. Similarly, I want to talk about the backup camera real quick because the backup camera is actually found within the gauge cluster. Now, the backup camera is pretty clear and it has the nice lines that adjust when you do turn the wheel, and I like that a lot. But again, when you put the car in reverse, it's weird looking right into your gauge cluster as opposed to in the center of the vehicle. Very, very odd and very strange, but that's not where the quirkiness ends here for the TT. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my selectors for that center screen, left and right, OK, view, and back, as well as on the OK little turn dial. Those are actually buttons to the left and right that select pages. I did not know this, so I thought for the longest time that I couldn't access a menu to switch media. Very annoying. On the right, I have my phone options, voice commands, navigation, favorite, volume, mute, skip track. You see how this is starting to get clustered? Not a big fan of that. And around the back, I do have paddle shifters if I want to shift on my own. To the left of me, I do have a climate control vent, as well as this is actually where my heated seats are found. So you press the middle of the vent and this turns on your heated seats. This I really, really like. This is compact, but still easy to use. The one vent now does two things, and I like that a lot. And it looks very fresh, looks modern, and that's all I can ask for. Down below that, of course, I have my headlight switches and gauge dimmer switch. Then on the door, I have my lock and unlock, power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. The mirrors are folding as well as they are heated. But before we get on with the rest of the video, I want to say thank you to the people who made this video possible. First up, cashforcars.com wants to buy your car. They will buy your car with a clean title, salvage title, running, non-running, whatever it may be. You can get your free quote by clicking the link in the description below. Cashforcars.com is the easiest way to sell your car. Within a couple of clicks, they'll come pick up your car in less than 24 hours. You don't even have to leave the couch, and it's absolutely awesome. Next up, we have con plates. The con plate is a suction cup mount for your license plate when you don't want to mount it to the front of your car. If you have to legally have a front license plate like you do here in Illinois, but you don't want to stick it on the front of your car, you think it's ugly, you want to take it off for car shows, whatever it may be, you can actually just put your license plate into the suction cup holder and put it in your front windshield when driving around to remain legal. You can get your con plate in the description below, and every sale helps out the channel, so make sure your car looks good with con plates. Last but not least, I want to talk about the fixed OBD2 sensor. Now, this is a Bluetooth sensor that you plug into your OBD2 port on your car, and it gives you a ton of cool information like your check engine lights, how to fix your check engine lights, approximately how much it should cost, maintenance intervals like oil change, tire rotation, brake pads, when you should change that stuff out. This is absolutely fantastic for anyone into cars or anyone looking to get into mechanics. Fixed is offering my viewers a discount through that link, so go check it out, and again, help support the channel. But with all of that out of the way, let's get on with the review. Now we're moving into the center, and this is again where it starts to get interesting. I have 3 climate control vents that also house my climate controls themselves. You press them as well as turn them to change your temperature, fan speed, recirculating, things like that. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but this I am more happy to get used to than the infotainment in the gauges. Surprisingly, I don't actually have dual zone climate, which is something I would have liked to have seen, but not the end of the world. But because the gauges work as your infotainment, there is no center infotainment screen. Nothing at all. Down below the climate controls, I have my drive mode select, traction control on and off, hazard switch, and my wing. So first of all, let's talk about the drive mode select. I have 4 different drive modes here in the TT 2.0. Comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Pretty standard Audi drive modes, nothing too crazy. However, the thing that I don't like is the actual drive select switch itself, because you press it down to switch between the modes, but you can't press it from below. You can't press it up, you can only press it down, which is pretty annoying. But let's talk about that other fun button, which is the wing button, which you can press down, and there's a rear wing that comes up, just like the Audi S7 I just drove. Love that feature, makes me feel like I'm a transformer, even though I very much am not. That wing will also come up automatically if you're driving at a high rate of speed, but out here on the test track, I don't anticipate that happening, so here's the wing going up. On the center console itself, I do have a pretty sizable cubbyhole up the front that opens and closes, looks very nice. Then I have my start-stop button and my volume controls, and then I have the shifter itself. The shifter feels fine. It feels a little dated for 2017. However, it works, and I don't really mind it. Then down in the center, we have more controls for the center screen. So you can actually use this as well as the steering wheel controls to control everything in your gauge cluster. On normal Audi products, I love this, and I do love the feeling of it. I like the feedback, the tactile feedback. It clicks every time you twist it. However, now that the infotainment has moved to the gauges, this seems less necessary, because I like having the switches and controls down in the center, so if the passenger wants to change something, they can, but there's no way that the passenger can even see what they're changing, so why not just stick with the steering wheel controls? However, I did complain that the steering wheel controls were very cluttered, so I guess this works. I'm just not a big fan of this entire system. I think this entire system isn't great. And so while they feel nice down here, and it is nice to be able to switch through pages with bigger buttons, I still really don't care. At the very bottom, I have the power parking brake, and then I have one single cup holder, which of course fails the big friggin' bottle test. I mean, what did we expect? Now, the seats are decently comfortable. They do have pretty high bolsters on the sides. They are very sporty seats. They have this nice Alcantara insert in the center, leather on the outside, and overall, I really, really like it. Now, this TT does have back seats, but as you can see, they are not meant for human beings. So, there they are. They have back seats. Nothing really special about them. Don't put anyone back there unless you want to torture them. All right, so we're on the back of the 2017 Audi TT. Pop the trunk from the key. And here it is. Now, these seats do go down. The back seats, which if you can even call them back seats, they do go down. But besides that, not too much room. I mean, it works. Very typical Audi hatch here. I do get a 12-volt outlet back here, which I do get a 12-volt outlet back here, which I love for, like, you know, tire inflators and things like that. But overall, not too much room. It is a hatchback, but it works, but it's nothing impressive. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I think it looks really, really good. I like the look of the TT. The TT RS definitely looks a lot better, but I think this still is a pretty striking, pretty good-looking vehicle. I'm not a huge fan of the white color. I think Audi has so many good, solid, interesting colors that white is just a little plain, a little boring to me. However, like I keep saying, this is a good-looking car. Now we got to talk about my thoughts on the Audi TT as a whole. What do I think? Well, I think the infotainment system is very frustrating, and I don't see why they had to put in the gauge cluster. I guess it cleans up the middle, but I feel like this isn't such a sports car, such a driver's car, that it really needed that. However, that's really my only large-scale complaint with the TT. Honestly, I like the power. I think it makes a solid enough amount of power for being a lower tier of the car. I like the sound of the 2.0 turbo, and overall, I think the interior materials are very, very nice. As compared to the 2.0 liter turbocharged Supra that I recently drove, I think this feels a lot nicer. This is more of a luxurious vehicle, and this is actually $3,000 less than the price of the 2.0 Supra that I reviewed. And the reason I compare it to the 2.0 Supra is because it's a car I fully reviewed and spent just as much time with that car as I did with this car. So that's why I make that comparison. I think this actually is pretty good value. $44,000 for this is not terrible, because think about it. The top tier ND Miata that I drove at the end of last year, that was $38,000. This is $44,000. Sure, throw some badge engineering in there and all-wheel drive and a turbo, and yeah, I could see how that would amount to being $6,000 more. I really like this car. I don't want you guys to get it twisted that I hate it because of the infotainment. The infotainment really bothers me. It really, really does, and I think it was a bad move on Audi's part. But besides that, I really enjoy driving this car. It's sporty, it's fun. It's just a little two-door coupe. It's nothing special. However, not every car has to be an award winner. I don't know. I really like it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their used 2017 Audi TT 2.0. This is one of their used cars. They get hundreds of used cars on the lot at all times. Tons of different cool things. I just drove a Mustang. I've also driven other Audi products from them, as well as BMW, Mercedes, Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, whatever you want. They have some very, very cool inventory. And their information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. They're the first place you should stop at when you're looking for a new car. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.